Yes, we're extraterrestrial. We are KNR and Tim Silicon Sangola na Mr. Nqaba Nomvete from Nomvete attorneys abazinzeke apha eMonti kodwa basebenza across the province and nangapha kwemida yephondo. Namhlanje sincokola naye ngomcimbi ke wokusuwisha. Welcome Mr. Nomvete.
Yes, morning to you, Lhoza, and to the listeners.
Awusefani ke xa ungekho, you know, and as a public holiday, abantu ungarhuqwa etasi.
My biceps are out.
Yeah, yonke into.
I'm not a lawyer today.
Yes,
I'm just a jet around.
Thanks to uvoto, thanks to lemine namhlanje ewe man siyakwamkela ke njengoba bese ndichilo masigawule siwarhuqa ndifuna ke sisabele kuwe njengomuntu ke noko osebenza ngomthetho ukusuwisha ngabe eMzantsi Afrika okoqala nje sivumelekile uba sibe kanti ke singasuwisha istate. Can one sue a government?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Anybody who is aggrieved by the negligence,
okay,
or ill treatment, or any unbecoming behavior from the government, that person is able to sue the state.
Okay.
In fact, to sue that relevant department.
Okay.
For example, if you are in the hospital and the nurse does negligence on you, and you have complications on your health,
sure,
you can sue the hospital. In fact, the Department of Health. If the police arrest you unlawfully and detain you unlawfully, you can sue the police.
Okay.
If the prosecution prosecutes you unlawfully, you can sue the NPA. So anybody can be sued.
Okay.
If that state organ using its agents, when I'm saying agents, I'm meaning employees or servants.
Sure.
They do wrong to you as an individual and your constitutional rights are encroached. Therefore, you can sue the state. I want to keep it short as I want us to talk to about the reality. But
yes,
anybody can sue, including this Katlego family.
Now that you've mentioned Katlego Mphulaphuli, siyayazi eMzantsi Afrika sixakene nento esingayazi basithi yifilm no ngihlala kwabafileyo noba yintoni sisinto esingayazi ngazange sayibona zange sayicinga. Hey, ubutyoshini eleke kusisa inento, you know, it's a developing story inintsi masibuye siza pha Katlego uzibone okay akazibonanga boze besesisidumbu kodwa ke usapho lukaKatlego Mpholo lubone untana walo unyana walo usewuthi umzimba wayo ofumaneka kwaCell 35 apho kwakuqhweshe khona okanye ku allegedly qhweshe uThabo Bester. Yes, let's be careful ngalamagama sasebenzayo ya ekutyholwa ukuba uye waqhwesha endaweni yoko wathatha uKatlego wamfaka phaya ethi ingxelo epostmortem uKatlego unayo icrack kwiskull uthe esitsha wabe seleswelekile.
Yes.
Can ifamily Katlego?
For example, the autopsy report, when you died as a result of fire,
okay,
you must have inhaled
you smoke
carbon monoxide in your lungs.
Sure.
There is no way you can die out of fire without having
inhaling
the carbon monoxide. So
okay,
that was a red flag. Why there is no carbon monoxide in his
lungs.
Although he bent beyond recognition, but the autopsy can help and tell that okay, there was a blunt object that was applied, maybe in his head or wherever. The autopsy will show you that.
Sure.
So that's what raised the flags, the red flags. What's going on now? You know, because it means this person was planted in the prison cell.
Okay.
Let's start from here.
Sure.
A preliminary investigation has been done by that Judicial Service Commission that is led by the retired judge. I think it's I just forgot him now, but that investigates the correctional services.
Yes.
So we are not beating about the bush or clutching straws when we talk about the investigation that is at hand. At least there is a preliminary investigation that shows that Thabo Bester was in that cell And after this incident, he was not found in that cell.
Okay.
The DNA suggests that somebody else was there, whom now later we find it was this gentleman, a young man. Yes. They are arrested. The court case is in session. I don't want us to, and the outcomes and say, no, this one is guilty and this one is not guilty. Let's just focus on the aggrieved family.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Firstly, this is what must happen then. I will just show you two angles this matter must be approached. The first one, we must conduct a judicial inquiry.
Okay.
As to the death of this gentleman, because now we are getting it from the tail. We get him from the jail cell that he was never convicted to be there.
Register as ibanjwa.
So we're getting it from there. We must start from the day he was reported
missing. Okay.
The report of the police officers, because there was a missing person inquiry.
And
the police gave a wrong report there. That this person, I don't know what they say, what happened. They couldn't find the body. So there was no proper investigation as to the inquiry of the missing person.
Okay.
But now that we know that this person's body is available, we must do a judicial inquiry.
Okay.
Not just an inquest. You see, there is a difference between investigating a murder case and an inquest. A murder case, a murder case, you know that you are investigating death of a person who is allegedly murdered, and then by a certain weapon, and then you follow the lead.
Sure.
An inquest is when you find someone dead and you don't have any leads.
Then you
do inquest. But this type of inquest must be a judicial inquest, not just the police inquest.
Okay.
Judicial inquest meaning that you investigate, you report to a magistrate or a judge in the court.
Okay.
So that you get some instructions as to what to do as an investigating officer.
Okay.
Get the DNA from there. Go visit the scene of crime. Go do this. The prosecution and the court must be involved, so that we get to the bottom of it and happen to know exactly where was this guy murdered.
Okay.
Where was the scene of crime?
Yes.
Where was he murdered? Number 2, who murdered the guy?
Sure.
Number 3,
weapon.
What was the murder weapon? But the autopsy is showing that it's a blunt object. So it could be a hammer or anything like that. It was not a sharp object.
Sure.
Okay. It was not stabbed. He was beaten and the force was applied.
Okay.
From where we stand, we know how he died.
Okay.
We know the weapon that was used.
Okay.
Even though we don't know whether it's a hammer or
okay.
So now the police investigation must corroborate that evidence and say this is where he died, because we must know who is the last person to meet him and all that. Then thereafter, now we don't talk about murder. We talk about now connecting the body, as you say. We connect the body from being murdered, kept, decomposed, and later into the
cell 35
of Thabo Best. Now, where is the that is as far as criminal investigation is concerned.
Sure.
And if I was, or I could be asked to advise the Ministry of Police, I could say to them, be careful of arrests. Do not arrest anybody at this stage until you have a pile of investigation that you know it is proper.
Okay.
Because now, because of the social media and pressure, I see Mr. Pegitele, the Minister of Police, he fails at some point to absorb that pressure.
Okay.
And issue an instruction of a 72-hour arrest, and then they happen to arrest wrong people, opening the state up to civil litigation, civil claim. So I would say to them, let's first investigate, even if it takes us 10 years to investigate.
Sure.
We investigate properly, we get our facts in place, and after that, we go and arrest the right people, correct people. For example, the father of Magudumana is charged with murder of Katlego. You can't conclude that at this stage.
It's too soon.
Why are you charging this person with murder? Because murder is a contact crime. Murder, you can't murder me away from me.
Okay.
It's a contact crime. We must be in contact when one is murdering someone.
Sure.
If you are using a firearm, at least there must be a link between. You can't say I've murdered someone and you can't place me in the scene of murder. In a matter of fact, now at this stage, we don't even know where the scene of murder is.
EP.
Let's pass there and talk about the civil suit now.
Masize kwelitsala. Yey, hey, ndijonge nexesha. Phulaphula bangabe uyaqala banathi enqubeni icola naye ke uMr Nqaba Nomvete from Nomvete Attorneys sizamujonga because ndiyafuna emva koko size ke a guide to suing ya ba ithini na but kuba sesinalo mbuthisayo lapha etafuleni masesukhawuleza nawo suqabelisa because ingathi ininzi into. Masize apha ke ngoku apha esidumbini.
Okay. Fortunately, I'm specializing in civil suits.
Okay.
I sue the Minister of Police. I sue the Minister of Health. So even around here, people know when you talk civil suits, you come to me. Okay. We must be very careful who to sue here.
Okay. Why? Because kaloku into yokuqala into yobana umntana mfunyenwe phi kwisebe lezoluleko number 1 tick. Ngubana begada okay, in this case kule correctional center bekukho i-service providing G4S tick so uyayiqonda okay mnintsi umuntu ungene njani umntanam ndizawutsho mna ndinguMacy umama ka bani.
Very good. When you sue one, you must have a case, you must have a civil damage that has happened to you. Let's start from there. I'm not talking about criminal issues.
Yes,
I'm talking about a civil damage. A civil damage is it's not crime. It's when you have a loss which is peculiar to your person and to your livelihood as a person.
Okay.
Let me for example explain in this context. The family of Katlego lost a son. Let's start from there. Number 2, the family of Katlego was deprived of their right to grieve, have the body of their child and bury their child. And all of this is happening in the auspices of the government institutions. Let's start from the call these people abenza in from the pathological side of view. Firstly, when one is dead, that person must go to the hospital mortuary, which is the pathology. There is no evidence that shows that the pathology services of the Department of Health was ever involved, because seemingly this body was murdered and hidden. So there was no lawful disposal of the body. Because there was no intention to dispose of the body in a lawful way. The intention was to frame, and then was to camouflage this body as that of Pester. So we cannot say now we are going to sue the mortuary and say, how did the body come out of the mortuary? You forget about the pathology and the Department of Health. Now, who do you sue now? The people that got hold, physical control of the body was number 1, the Department of Correctional Services, Mengahong Correctional Center. Whoever is managing there, or it's a private G4S company, security company, or it's the Department of Correctional Services that we know, it doesn't matter. What matters is that the body entered the premises of the Department of Correctional Services. They must account. They must tell the Katlego family why our child was found in your premises. And for how long was that body there?
Ew.
When did it arrive? Up to the
Njani.
point where we saw the acid, which is the burning of the cell. That's number one. So you do have the correctional services, the Department of Correctional Services,
Okay.
to sue.
Okay.
That's number one.
Okay.
And this is very painful because it shows that our correctional centers are not a safe place
Yeah.
to be. And it means that there is a lot of work to be done. Because there's a lot of gaps and loopholes in the security sector of our correctional services. I'm not trying to put an indictment on them and say what, but you can't have a body that is coming from outside the prison, and you find that body inside a locked jail cell, and you're telling me that you are a proper correctional center. That's number one.
Okay.
Two, let's talk about the outsourcing of this work, because other people are like, what is G4S having to do with the government correctional? Okay, in big centers like your Mangahung, your Josemampuru, and the rest, like you will always have, or you sometimes have a private security company, which is have been proven to have been into the security sector for quite some time to assist in the security guarding of the institution. Because these institutions are the ones that are keeping the serial murderers, rapists, the people that have escaped from prisons. They have solitary confinements on them. So there's just a lot that is happening there, and you are dealing with habitual criminals, people that are declared to be habitual criminals. So you don't have correctional services only. Or someone is going to ask, why Tanzania correctional services does not have G4S, or does not have Nomvete security private company? It's not necessary. But at some prisons, you need to have an extra hand.
Sure.
Now, G4S is entering as a service provider, a private security company, who is to assist the correctional services in the running and the guarding of the. That's dangerous, because you are having. In fact, the rationale behind that was that it's better off to have another hand in the security force of the prison.
Okay.
Because if you have a loophole in the correctional services, the private sector might not have want to be involved in the shenanigans of the government.
Yes.
This should have been prevented by G4S, in a matter of fact. I mean,
because
they are there to
uqinisekise into yobana ubani yoyiswa nina prison water umuntu amabhavara sikhololo lo nto.
Exactly.
I get
the G4S is there to be the watchdogs of the correctional centers, which are known to have loopholes.
Yeah.
Now they are the ones who are opening even wider. The doors are open wider in their watch. So you can't just sue correctional services and leave G4S out.
Okay.
You need to sue. What do you sue for? Damages.
Okay.
You sue for damages, inconvenience. You sue for damages. You sue for your. There's a lot that you can sue for.
Okay.
So, I can confidently say the attorneys of the Katlego family has to sit down and structure their civil claim, and point it to correctional services, point it to G4S.
Right. Unfortunately, health because akaveli.
But I would advise as well to rope in the SAPS.
Okay.
For failure to
investigate properly.
I would have them as one of the defendants in my claim and say, my first defendant is the Correctional Service Center.
G4S.
My second defendant is G4S. But I want to have SAPS here, not to be frivolous on my claim and try to shoot with a shotgun, hoping to hit any of these people. But the rationale behind it and my reasons to rope them in is that if they could have investigated the inquest, we could not have been into the point. Because remember, Katlego was not killed today and placed on the cell, on the prison cell tomorrow or today. He was kept for a long time. He decomposed Where was he kept?
Somali.
Why did the SAPS did not get this facts?
Beripotela bomntana udukile.
Yes, they should have investigated. So rope them in that civil claim and put them there as the third defendant and say, Minister of Police, come and answer what happened to your investigation at the time you were investigating a missing persons inquest, inquiry.
Yeah.
So that inquiry must come to the pleadings, and they must discover those documents and say, this is how far we have gone with our inquiry. And we failed here. That is why we happen to have a dead body in a prison cell that he doesn't even belong there. So this is a plight of South Africa. It's a very bad one.
It is.
It's unprecedented. This is the first of its kind. I mean, there's
reference.
It's even out. It beats out even the European countries, including America, and there's no such a thing that
money heist wasemzantsi into engapha ya
see it on the movies.
Ayikho sikayibona sasicinga umani heist abantu bakwambukela sisichenene and imani sithi gqi look the modeler ngoku engene yakhe yazama uropwa. I read something was like uthi lo mntu look at the resemblance, chances are not Dr. Nandi bebezafana noNomfundo lo amgwetyelwe naye bezambulala eventually, but asebenzise
but he is convicted for those crimes, like when we talk about. I don't want us to mix issues because I was arguing this thing and saying Bester is a convicted rapist and murderer. That issue has been it's water under the bridge.
But
what
now
we need to focus on now is an escape a case which involved arson, because a cell in fact a government institution or property has been burnt.
Sure.
Meaning that there's arson there. Secondly, there is improper disposal of the body or contravention of the handling of the corpse. There is a legislation on that.
Okay.
2, there is murder of Katlego. 3, there is kidnapping of Katlego. Because Katlego did not voluntarily go to decompose into that cell. Somebody kidnapped him, killed him, kept him, and took him to the cell prison. So it's a very devastating issue.
It is ngenxa yexesha umphulaphuli kuyafuneka nje liphelile quickly ndimane Nqaba nami uba inkqubo elandelayo nawuphiwa noba 5 minutes anyana i-guide to sichazile eqaleni ba ususha xa kutheni but yafuna a quick guide.
I don't want us to bother ourselves on the nitty-gritties of the claim. I would say get attorneys.
Okay.
They must consult with attorneys. Sure. The attorneys will know what to do.
Okay.
Because now if I say to you the guide to the civil suit, I will be lecturing people as to how to draft papers and end up in court with a 5 million or 35 million claim, which is not the point.
Okay.
Get attorneys as the family of Mpolo, and then you sit down and say, look, how do we approach this? They will send letter of demands. The state will have to respond. Summons will be issued, and then we'll end up in court.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Pull-up is 2 minutes after 9 kwiKids Ngesi Radio ngomhla wenkululeko ndiyayazi kodwa ezinto zavuka sisiqwenge ndikufuneka luxanduva lwethu as media sikwazi manje sizisa abantu abaqondayo umcimbi ukwenzela uba singamane sithatha yonke into esibona social media sicinga uba yiyo. So kuluxanduva lwethu uba simane sisizisa abantu bazokusisusa inkwethu sizokwazi ukuyiqonda lo mcimbi ndimane ngixesha apha emnyango ngathi ndiyayifumana imizuzwana Mr. Nomvete emihlanu just to wrap yonke lento. Hey lunyofu bubutyobo mphulaphula andifuna ungatsho sisihlopho iya uJoseph David Gray Deyi the second uthi yena it tells a lot about the so-called private sector shenanigans. There's a lot of corruption going on there. Bongani uthi iyanqina uthi jonga bubutyobo and le case ingathi eleke iseninzi into endicinga uba because kukho anto odukileyo apha.
Yeah.
Besebenza phaya,
People have been murdered.
you know, kukho umuntu esegadini
Yes.
ongaziwayo buphi.
The problem about escape from a lawful custody, you can't do it alone. You need a string of,
and you need money for
you
that.
need a string of people that will connect as a chain
To
let you out. You can't tell me that the correctional services bosses did not know about this. You can't tell me that a prison of such magnitude does not have cameras. If they don't have, or if they do have cameras, they will blame load shedding and say, no, it was a 3-hour load shedding, it was dark, cameras were not working, why there is no backup on the system. There's just a lot that has gone wrong deliberately in this case, and it's gonna uncover. I don't want to put much credit on Thabo Bester and make him a hero, but
kodwa kusalayo uvezile
to a point where I could say,
yeah,
a commission of inquiry, you know, it would look like we want to waste
a
commission of inquiry should be done on the correctional services.
Okay.
Not for the Thabo Bester matter only. I'm
Just
talking about the general safety of the prison, the general guarding, the general security issues. A commission of inquiry must be done because it looks like we do not have only these G4S people down there or correctional officers down there. We have a problem at the top of the apex of the department, and they must answer. I know that this escape has attracted a lot of attention, but there is a lot of escapes that are not reported like Thabo Bester's escape, and they need to be answered to. A commission of inquiry should be opened. I know that will involve a lot of state funds and a lot of things, but we have a problem at the Correctional Services Center. You will find there a gun. You will find you will find in the prison cell a knife, a cell phone, and you sit and think, where is our correctional department?
Yeah.
Why are we having phones in the cells?
Why are we having personal laptops?
Why are we having laptops? Why are we having internet? Why are we having all of these things in the prison cell? And this is daily bread. I'm not talking about the Thabo Bester once-off issue here. I'm talking about everyday death in custody where a prisoner was stabbed. Let me just remind you a recent one. Who is this guy who killed Chris again? Janus Walus was given parole before he was out of prison. He was stabbed inside of prison with a sharp object. Where was that coming from? Where is the sharp object coming from in a prison cell where we have got 200 and something police guards that are guarding that cell? So that is why I'm saying now, I see the judiciary services that investigates the correctional services. But on top of that, there must be something done to correct the
kulungiswe kujongwe into yobana kungathwani namphulaphuli ngenxa yexesha, we have to leave it there today. Kodwa iicameras bezikhona, ukhona umrhanelwa obanjiweyo ekubonakalayo uba uthe pause ngokwemizuzu kule case, ucofe upause, ngoba xa kubalwa imizuzu ngexesha kuphumayo wathi pause, waphuma waphinde wathi start, yaphinde yaqala urekhod. Ayibonakali ngoko xa bendimamela ndizama ujonga yena uba izakhe izityholo zibekelayo i-technician e-operator epha server room surveillance yabonakala uba hayi ukhona upause kwathiwa, otherwise ayithathwanga yacinywa okanye yathwani pause then kwaphindwa kwa. So inintsi means ukhona umuntu.
It's a question of, it means there is a record.
Yeah.
If there is a pause and a pause and a play, there is a record.
Ikhona into ethe so record makancinci.
Could be a backup.
Let's
wait and see what investigations are showing. But I feel sorry for the Katlego family. They need some recourse. They need justice. They don't just need justice, they need justice and recourse, meaning that they need compensation, monetary compensation from the state, and they need justice, meaning that people must be held
accountable.
And some of them must be arrested and convicted and later sentenced of the death of the strength.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nomvete,
Yes.
Nqaba is my name. I'm running a law firm. It's in Beria at number 3 Pierce Street, East London, and another office is in Mthatha. So you can get me on Facebook. I think the easiest is just to go straight to my
Facebook.
social media.
Yeah.
I'm Nqaba Nomvete in Facebook, Nqaba Nomvete Instagram, @_Nqaba Nomvete on Twitter.
When I get but while we have to leave it there.
I hope we are helping. I really hope.
Yes, uthi busisiwe kuyadlalwa eMzantsi isekhasi nje apha imovie yifilm and yafuna nje xa sele ndikubambile Mr Nomvete apho baphulaphula nababukeli beKeith ngesi radio. It's Freedom Day. The question besibuza ke namhlanje, are we really free? I could
say our freedom is as far as your democratic rights and your physical freedom and your political freedom. You can,
economically, nope.
You can vote. You can do my only problem with the democratic state that we have is the issue of land redistribution and land restitution.
Okay.
It's poorly attended to. Black people are still slaves. They don't have land. They're living in the shacks. They are congested in poor areas. And you look at that, and then the government will raise their hand and say, we are providing RDP. When you look at your RDP house, it's a two-bedroom or what? But it's a fish where a father, a mother, and children must live. But when you look at 1967, 1976, you will see a white African man given 1,000 hectares of farm free of charge on a subsidy of government. So our government is failing us when it comes to land as far as our freedom is concerned, and our government is failing us as far as the economic freedom is concerned. That I can die for. I mean, it's a proven fact that economically Black people are not free. You will look at the banks and see who transact with the banks. It's the so-called big white businesses, starting from accountants, going to lawyers on the panels in the banks. You will see white-owned companies.
So
a young Black guy who opens his own company there struggles even to get into the local government panel. You know, simple things like giving work to, because, you know, a proper economic booster is the small, medium enterprise drive. If the government can push that and say, look, we are struggling to offer jobs, start things, we're going to support you. Then we can have participation and inclusive economy. Our economy is still exclusively reserved
for the elite.
That's what I can say. That's my only problem with our democracy. And our democracy is not new.
29
must
years.
Not have this raise this card of a developing state or a new state or whatever the case may be. Our government has just failed. In a matter of fact, ANC has failed. Now, when I'm saying ANC, I will look like I'm DA or EFF or what. Because ANC is a ruling party, we must criticize ANC on its face and tell them when they fail us. When they do good, we must tell them that they do good. You know? So ANC is failing the country. There is no point why we should continue with them in governance if they can't govern.
Luluvo lwakhe mphulaphuli
alolesikhululo
ndiyabona iyanyuka izawufuna ishow yayo on its own, a special feature on its own. Bengicimba uzawuthi nje phezulu kuba i-Freedom Day ayiwakhaka ubheke ezantsi enzulwini masiyeke. Let's leave it like that. Please kodwa ke mphulaphuli ngibuze besibuzo lo namhlanje ba are we really free? Kuyacaca ke economically no. Yes, sikhulekile uhlala lapho hlala khona ufundisa khona but nje awuphathi pass.
You can't do those things without money.
Exactly.
You can be so much free to walk away, to walk around, and you will need a bus fare to go to Port Elizabeth.
Ngantoni masiyeke apha ndiyakubona uba ofune imali ingakubambi nje kucala umthetho ke sidade nenzulini nakweli cala.
You will need a flight ticket to go to Joburg. Where are you going to get that money from if you can't even look at this subsidy of 350? I don't know what is it.
Let's not get there.
What is that?
Masiyeke.
Can't we do something better?
Masiyeke suyicacisa masiyeke. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Nomvete. So let you look uyafumaneka khona ku social media as Nqaba Nomvete uzamkhangela khona umuntu khona emthatha kodwa ke uya consult ke noba uphina ezinto sezabalula virtually. And yeah, nibele mine mnandi. Happy Freedom Day abasendlini nibhiyoze kakuhle ezininzi Dr. Bazalala. I know urhulumente wephondo leMpuma Kapa namhlanje ungapha eSabalele Stadium ngokwensimbi yeshumi edibanisa ke neminyaka commemorate iminyaka ngamashumi wasweleka ngayo utata uChristiani liphondo. And also we know ATM nayo there's kid andlalela earlier on ikutsolo namhlanje andamhlonhlo municipality Cingo village balapho namhlanje. And also Rise Mzansi, the new kid on the block basemthatha town hall kuthe sa mhlawumbe nawe kukhaphu yakhona kodwa ke siyabulela kakhulu. Thank you so much Gama lami Lhoza WamaMfene bendi host ke undwendwe la siyabulela.
Yeah.
Lolo liyavuma ndicale ngebhayi but akhondo aphulaphuli will catch me on Monday because ngomso mandixolisele inverter yethu ichile load shedding generator is giving us problems siyamoshakalelwa equipment eninzi so ngomso xa njonge schedule sifika again ngeli xesha lam nayizolo elinye mhlawumbe uthi nqa kuphi we are struggling. I think baphulaphuli bangacinga ba yes and bikho deserting the post nje no xa unganiboni sinezo ngxaki and ke ngoku still that needs money besiqobothetha ngayo into bafuneka sifixile the inverter funeka sifixile igenerator ivele yathi boom yaxobula kwa paint yedonga yayilona uqonda ba iphanse usenzela into engapha so nakalelwe so xa ku load shedding unfortunately for now cela sinyamezelane so ngomso unless schedule sinophinda sitshintshe namhlanje ndizaba khona ngomso if not andiboni yazi ba ayike ifikile kodwa inqobo ezilandelayo zona zingachaphazeleki ziye zingene ndithi mandicacise namhlanje mphulaphula. So mandikhabe ndisithi ke catch me on Monday between 6 and 9 on www.keithngisirere.com nakulapho ndimincile boza ndisazisa ngomvulo sabe sisithina kodwa ke baphulaphula sixoleleni. Thank you so much Gama lami Lhoza WamaMfene umzukulwana kutamkhuluma chule nomakhona kwezinto ebasemagqoni kwebeni exisenza nishiya ke nengoma sade sibethwe nyanya inqobo elandelayo sijonga ba sidinga nje befuna ingoma engathi izile apha dala besiqhuba kahle but andiboni ngokukhawuleza mhlawumbi mandikushiye sisempini man kheli khumalo. Have a blessed day. Bye.